Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of your weekly summary, aka your weekly preview of what you should expect from this week's NFL games. We try to sum up every single game with just the three words and then we give you a bit of a context for them. We start with Thursday Night Football, Eagles hosting Commanders. To me, Eagles seize command. Not only command of the Commanders, but also command of this division. Don't get me wrong, I am thrilled about what Washington is doing. I could not be happier for them. The organization is moving in the right direction. They find their guy in Jaden Daniels in a way that I did not see coming with Jaden. Kudos, I was wrong. I think I can say it after like 10 games. He is incredible. I really think this is their guy for the future. And when I said that, best case scenario, he's like 15th best QB in 4 years that you probably should not pay, but you will pay. He might be that already. Like, he is really good. He's really poised. And I think his level of rookie season is even slightly higher than what CJ Stroud did last season. That much of a praise I will give him this season. Yet, this is just a talent mismatch. Philadelphia is an incredibly talented team. They have been that for several years. Their GM is doing incredible work. They are paying for it with the future. They are pushing some of the contracts, especially Jalen Hurts, down the future. So they will pay for this one eventually, like the Saints and other teams. But as of right now, they have an incredible team. And like their slump, they seem to be over it. Like end of last year, beginning of this year, it might feel like Nick Sirianni should be gone. Might should still be, but that's conversation for another day. But yeah, this team figured it out. They know what they want to do offensively. One of the two things I was super excited about this year's acquisitions, and specifically, was running game with elite running backs next to highly mobile QBs. Ravens, Eagles, putting Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley on these teams. I love these offenses. This is how I would build my offense. I absolutely like it. And I'm glad it freaking works, that running backs are getting more credit than they did in the past, even in terms of money and even in terms of recognition. So I think it's going to be a banger, but I think the talent level is just there for the Eagles. Bears versus Packers. I told you, Shane Waldron, I told you, like, I am a Seahawks fan and I was happy that he was let go. He was just not the guy for this job. At this point, I don't think Matt Eberflus is either. Caleb Williams regressing. DJ Moore, that's where I was absolutely wrong. I thought he's going to have the great season, and if not, it's going to be Shane Waldron's fault. I would say, like, it's definitely partially Shane Waldron's fault, but also, like, DJ Moore is not really playing to his standards, I think. So, yeah, I was wrong about DJ Moore. And, like, if Bears actually want to accomplish something that, would actually... I don't want to save the season. Like, they are still in a good position. I don't think Caleb is going to be a bust. I think he showed a lot of promising stuff. They will just need to figure offensive line. They just released Nate Davis, and I would say offensive coaching, which, like, it's not small businesses, but I think they are still in the right trajectory. But if they want this season to have a chance for a playoffs, they need to beat the Packers. And as of right now, this feels like a stretch. Packers, after a bye, they have been wishy-washy team. Jordan Love in and out of the lineup, in and out of the form. Some of the young players not necessarily making leaps that you would hope for. Their D-line, that's still ugly. But yeah, they are favorites in this one. Lions versus Jags. Claws versus Nose. It just meant, like, we are supposed to see two beasts from Wildlings. There's just one king. It's the Lion, and Jags are just harmless kittens. The handicap here is like 13 points, something like that. And yeah, I will not be surprised if Lions win by more than that. Like, they might, as Lions sometimes do, play with their foot. If everyone has a cat, how they like to play with their foot. So maybe that's going to be part of this game. Jags actually almost beaten Vikings, but it was more like Sam Darnold was actively trying to lose that game rather than Jags actually putting great performance together. I mean, defense played good, I will give them that, but offense with Michael Jones, who is going to be behind the center again this week, yeah, that's just nothing to be excited. Dolphins versus Raiders, picking it up. Well, that means two different things for both these teams. I think for Raiders it means waiting for their pick and probably it's going to be a top 5 pick because I don't see this team getting better. Like, they're bad. Brock Bowers is probably the only saving grace of this team this year. And for Dolphins, actually with the win over Rams, their season is not gone. I think they still can make playoffs, though it's going to be hard, but I mean, they almost beat Buffalo, they quite handily beat Rams, and Raiders should not be that much of a tough opponent. So if they can pick up some wins, maybe we'll see them in the playoffs. Not that I would expect them to make great things there, but yeah, we might see them there. Patriots versus Rams. Mayo, May. So, Jerry Mayo, the head coach, actually after a start that, some was like, oh, he's already shooting into his own players in terms of like, yeah, he's throwing them under the bus, that they don't put the effort he wants to. I think the team looks, despite the lack of talent, they look really behind him. They look competently coached, and I think he's going to be there for next season. Drake May, he is their franchise QB. I think. We've seen some good, some bad, but overall, I think given the lack of talent on this offense, he's showed enough promise that I feel like they, 60-65% find a guy that they will prolong after his rookie contract expires. And then May, well, still I think the most exciting thing for this team is going to be in May when you go through your free agent signings and your draft, and you'll be like, okay, that's the future. Because as much as this team has beaten Bears and actually playing, decent enough football, Drake May and May is what you are excited about. For the Rams, they need to win this one. They are in a similar position to Dolphins, whom they lost on Monday. They need to win this one if they want to keep their chances of playoffs alive. Obviously they will not be eliminated if they lose this one, but their chances would drop incredibly. And it's not going to be easy. Patriots are actually playing some good football, so could be a sneaky, interesting game. Not necessarily a good one, but interesting, because stakes are at least high for Rams and Patriots are playing hard. I'm sorry if you guys hear the noises, it's just my kids probably practicing for O-line versus D-line drills. They are not playing it, how do you say it, weekly. Okay, Saints versus Browns, both teams are in financial hell. Both teams are bad. They have quarterbacks on bad contracts, really bad contracts that are backup QBs in my mind. Like Derek Carr, I know his stats probably don't look like it, but you are just not winning with Derek Carr. I think it's proven. And it's nothing against Derek Carr in terms of I don't like him personally. That's not true. He got his money. He plays. Or he played, at least with Raiders, he played hard, he played through some injuries, so it's not like I don't think he deserved it or anything, but it just that's exactly the kind of QB you cannot sign to a big contract because you are not doing anything interesting. It's just not. On the other side, Deshaun Watson, widely covered, nothing to say. Browns pushed some money down the line. They wanted last year and this year with Watson's cap hits to be very low, so they can have stacked roster around him after his suspension, and they were stacked enough that if Deshaun Watson was what he was year 2, year 1 in Houston, they might be challenged for a Super Bowl. Unfortunately, he is 50th best QB in the league, so that's not happening. And now it's time to pay consequences for both of these teams. And our Saints already traded Latimore, Browns traded Smith, and yeah, these teams are in a sore need of rebuild, and given the money that's been pushed down the line, this is not a rebuild that's going to be fun for anyone, I think. Jets versus Colts, battle of two teams that I can't stop believing in terms of like, I always say like, oh, I mean, I want to be like, I trusted them highly before the season. I thought Jets could do it. I really thought that they could challenge for a Super Bowl. And with Colts, I thought they would be an interesting, frisky team. And of course, like Jets are much more of a disappointment. Widely covered. Let me add something on this. Aaron Rodgers, I think, takes too much blame for his performance on the field. In my opinion, I don't think he's that bad. I think he's still playing good football, not necessarily great football. But where I am, like, I wouldn't say like done with him, but where I'm like mostly pissed at him or disappointed in him, but it's been a constant through his career, at least for me, is for lack of success, I don't think he ever takes enough responsibility. Like, he says some of the right things that you are supposed to say, but acting like you are pretty much innocent in the way this team is built, in the Robert Saleh's firing. This is your team. Like, literally I don't think there has been a QB that had so much power over what players are we going to sign, what's going to happen with our coaches. I don't think there has been any player like that but the Rodgers in Jets. I don't think even like Brady when he went to Tampa, obviously Brady and Patriots like crashing with Belichick. I don't really feel like there has been a QB that had so much power over the organization. And I was like, no, absolutely not. I don't fucking believe that. I really don't. I really don't. And for this team, lack of preparation, lack of enthusiasm, I think he's a lot to blame because he had a huge say towards who is going to coach this team, which looks like it's uncoached at this point. At least with Robert Saleh, it looked semi-competent. I mean, nothing to say against Jeff Ulbrich because I don't really feel like this is his fault at all. So there's no shot at him. But yeah, just to come out so flat in a game that you are actually favorites on the road, despite it was just 1 point favorite against the Cardinals, to come out so flat. And like defense kind of looking like they don't care. I mean, this is super stacked defense. I mean, it's talent-wise, it's about the top defense. It's probably not the top one, but cornerback room is the best in the league. You cannot say me otherwise. DJ Reed, Michael Carter, and Sauce Gardner. There are no better trios out there. You have good enough talents on D-line. You have good enough talents in middle linebackers. I mean, okay, safeties are kind of meh, but still there's a lot of talent on this defense. And just to allow Arizona, who is good offense, perhaps great offense, but not an elite offense, to just go 5 drives, 70 yards plus, score on every single one of them. That was ugly. And for the Colts, I mean, like to say that their season is a failure with them being 4-6. I think a lot of people would say that's controversial, that's like too harsh. But I'm not going to say that because I'm pissed about two things: Anthony Richardson and benching Anthony Richardson. I was excited about Jonathan Taylor, Anthony Richardson. Clap if you heard about him before. Elite running back next to elitely mobile quarterback. And I thought that they could do a pretty good job controlling the time of possession. That's what I expected from Colts. Run the goddamn ball with Anthony Richardson, with Jonathan Taylor, perhaps bring Khalil Herbert, and spread around like 40 carries a game. Don't panic if it's 0-14, don't panic, just stick to this plan. Your defensive line, especially on the interior, it's really hard to run against. Grover Stewart, it's just really insane. DeForest Buckner. You could be that team that, you will give up some big plays because your secondary is not bad, not good. But just stick to the plan, run the goddamn ball, be the hard team that, any given week can have like a 40-minute time of possession and actually be really hard to beat. Sprinkle some huge throws from Anthony Richardson and just dumb it down, ease it down for him. Just low, difficult completions, checkdowns, and I don't think they necessarily did a good job in that. At the same time, Anthony Richardson and his accuracy is piss poor even for the easy checkdown. So I do understand that's that's make this plan much harder than it should. So I'm disappointed with Anthony Richardson not showing the progress I was hoping for. Also for the organization, not necessarily setting him up to the most success. And then you bench him and you bring Joe Flacco. And I'm like, why? Why are we doing this? I like Joe Flacco. I think it's fun. Fun story, cool story. But dude, just don't. Like, what does it give you? Like 1% more to win the game? Really? Is that, how is that smart thinking in a world where you are not going anywhere? Even if Anthony Richardson was playing like Jaden Daniels this year, okay, in that scenario, I think Colts could be a very good team. But if he was playing like, let's say, 20 to 25th best QB, which was like realistic expectation that he could grow into that this year, you are possibly a sneaky playoff team that if things go well can win one playoff game and then start. And that is absolutely okay. You don't need more from the season if Anthony Richardson progresses. And just to bench him after like 10 games, he started like 10 games in National Football League. And if you thought that like he is the guy that will look great in his 10th game, then you are down. Because like this guy is super young, he was super inconsistent, super not accurate in college. He was always a project. Why would you do this? And also, I would get it if it was like the case that he's absolutely losing confidence, or the locker room lost confidence in him. But that's not the case. Like Quentin Nelson said, we stand behind Anthony Richardson, we just don't really understand this. Anthony Richardson never said like that he's losing confidence. He said one time that he lost energy, but come on. So Anthony Richardson should be back for this game. I honestly have no idea how this game is going to end up. It might be, actually, it might be an interesting one, but that's two teams that disappointed me a lot this season. Steelers versus Ravens, push it late. That has two meanings for me. First one, both teams won by 1 point last week. Kind of went down to the wire. Ravens with controversial, not controversial, it was just absolutely horrendous refereeing on a missed 2-point conversion for Bengals. That just, you cannot miss so many calls on one play. You just can't, guys, come on. And for the Steelers, it was obviously hard count by Russell Wilson, pushing Johnny Newton. I mean, everybody knew it was a hard count. Johnny Newton, kind of his rookie mistake. I think he's allowed, but still, it was kind of weird way to win the game. And the second part of this is, I just want to see this game. Like, I am starting to like root for NFL to have rights to push the games from like afternoon to night, like from, let's say, week 9 or 10. And it would not necessarily be the case for this one because there's actually a good game. Chargers, I think, are playing Sunday Night Football. But I would like to see this game being played in prime time because, when there is 7 to 8 games, I try to watch them all. I don't have that much time to watch this one. So I think it's going to be a banger, and I wish it was a prime time banger. Titans versus Vikings actually could be watchable. The teams are like this close in standings, like you cannot see either of my hands, that's how close they are. But Titans actually, they are doing some of the nice things, like Will Levis doesn't necessarily suck last week. Tony Pollard is really exciting. Devon Sweat, I think he's doing really nice work in the interior of the D-line. It opens up Jeffrey Simmons, Adam Key. There are some things on the Titans that are kind of watchable, kind of promising. They don't get Will Levis sleep. If anything, he goes down slightly in his progress. So that's not what you wanted as a Titans this season. But still, it's not horrendous. It's not like unwatchable football team. And the Vikings, with the way they slouched against the Jaguars, they might struggle in this one. I do expect them to win, but it could be a watchable game. Broncos versus Falcons. What the hell? For Broncos, guys, like, come on, just beat the Chiefs. Just don't fucking screw it up on the field goal. I mean, you are so close. You are so close. And you make they actually made a mistake, with some alignments on that field goal try. And for the Falcons, like, what the hell are we doing? Like, how do you lose to Saints? I mean, come on. And Kirk Cousins, that last play, I mean, you have, I think, 17 seconds when the ball is in the ground. And you know it's 4th down, and you are down 3, and you are about at the middle of the field. So you cannot spike the ball, right? But you need to get the 4th down, and if you snap it quickly, you have a chance to just complete 4th down, spike the ball, and then you have, I think it's manageable to have like 2-3 seconds on the clock. You can try like big time field goal or Hail Mary. But he spends about 7 seconds explaining the play to the players. And I'm like, what? And then he actually throws a ball like 1 yard behind, like at the yard of scrimmage, pretty much, for a player that like has a cover like 1 yard next to him. That, like, unless he makes a great play, he cannot make a 1st down. He, like, to make a 1st down and actually get out of the field, which is what you need at that point, because you've spent so much time telling players what you are going to do. He would have to like be absolutely insane. So you are spending half of your time almost that you have to the rest of the game explaining, and then you throw this. I mean, not to mention you should never be in this situation against Saints. Like, they are not a good team. But what? That was ugly for both teams. And for this one, like, it's going to be interesting how both of these teams can kind of forget that last week, because like for Falcons, it's obviously not, it doesn't matter that much in terms of division, because that division sucks. Tampa is super, injury with Evans and Goodwin just took the wins out of their sail, though they playing still hard football, and defense actually getting healthier and playing better. But other than that, like, they don't have a competition, so they will win this division. But still, like, losing to Saints division matchup in this fashion, it's a stinker that you don't expect from this team this late of the season. And for the Broncos, like, they're a young team, they want to thrive on some positive momentum, and losing a game like this can be really big kick in the teeth. So it's going to be interesting to see how they recover from those mistakes. 49ers versus Seahawks, crashing the window. What do I mean by this? Like, San Francisco and their window starts to dwindle. Their margin for error is much lower, with Brandon Ayuk being injured, defense not playing as good as they did. And for the Seahawks, I think like 2 years ago, when we had really nice draft and under Pete Carroll, it all looked like we absolutely surpassed every single expectation. After Russ left, Gino looked really good. And we thought, like, in 2 years, this is going to be our window when these guys are in their 3rd year. We have nice picks. That window is not happening. This is not our year for the Seahawks. We might sneak into the playoffs, but for that, we would have to beat 49ers here, which is something that we tend not to do. They kind of have our number, so both these teams are kind of not on the best trajectories, though. Like, San Francisco is still a formidable team that have a Super Bowl aspiration for this year. Bills versus Chiefs. Coins, refs, and deaths. Well, for the Chiefs, they're on the roll. Like, their winning string is incredible. Like, it kind of defies the realm of possibilities, because how are they keep getting away with this? And these are the reasons. they can win a coin toss when they need to. I don't think that I have to remind that to Bills like 4 years ago, the banger with 13 seconds heroics from Patrick and then not getting Josh Allen the ball in the overtime. Refs, I'm not going to sit here and the league is rigged and everything, but at least in 2 games I feel like they've helped them in some key decisions. But the most important thing, this is actually like 1, 2, and then the 3 is the biggest one. Defensively, this team is insane. Like, they are really, really, really good team defensively. Steve Spagnuolo is doing a hell of a job. This is the story of this team. Just play really good defense, run the ball, and then make miracle happen, Patrick, when we need it to. That's pretty much it. On the other side, for the Bills, I feel like they had their share of every single one of these items on this list against the Chiefs. I can't stretch enough how much they want to win this game. I think the stadium is going to be loud as hell. This is going to be one of the top 5 games this season. I think in terms of regular season, because I just do believe Bills will come absolutely balls like guns blazing. But will that be enough against Chiefs? You never know, because Chiefs kind of find a way to win every single game somehow, some way. Chargers versus Bengals, Harbaugh in a row. So for the Bengals, another Harbaugh to evade them after losing to Ravens by 1 point. Now it's Chargers. And it's going to be interesting to see if there is some shared knowledge over dinner how to attack Bengals, specifically their defense. But at this point, does it really need to be some kind of family reunion for that to happen, because Bengals defense just is not good. And it's crazy. It's crazy, the difference. Like Joe Burrow, how he plays compared to Patrick Mahomes. He plays like 2 levels ahead of him this year, and the records is like 4-6 against 9-0. Like that has to suck. Like, to a degree, that has to suck for Joe Burrow when he sees all the other elite quarterbacks, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, getting some help. Lamar Jackson, to be fair, he doesn't get that much of a help from his defense, but at least he has Derrick Henry and stuff. So I think at least the organization is better run. They are willing to pay the players. With Bengals, Jamar Chase still doesn't have an extension. There's some weird things in the organization. I would wish to Joe that they would get sold. I think they need someone with more money to spread around, because it seems like they just cannot do it. And it's a shame, because he will always play with this handicap, and it's unfortunate because he deserves his ring. He deserves to be recognized as one of the league's best, because he is absolutely putting this team on his shoulder and try to run hard. And this week he is going to meet another team that is really well coached, and hopefully in the future will be well run as well from the management perspective. So tough one, exciting one. And really hard to pick a winner in this one. It's pretty much fight for a wild card. I think if Bengals lose, their wild card chances go rapidly low. And for Chargers, this could really cement them as a team that actually can do some noise in playoffs. So both big stakes, big game, very interesting one. And we'll finish it with Monday Night Football. Let sunshine. Reference to the roof in the Cowboys NTA Stadium, and I have one suggestion: just roll it down so the sun shines all over the field and we don't have to watch it. Please. Can we do it? I don't want to watch Cowboys. I really don't. I do want to watch CJ Stroud, but Monday Night Football days. For the season, it seemed like a good idea. I kind of told you that Cowboys are fool's gold. all in. Yeah, they are all in for a big one. Yeah, that's just one game. I wish there was a way for league to just switch this one with like Steelers versus Ravens. I just wish that can be the case, because I mean, who wants to watch this? Yeah, I don't. So that's all for this week. Please leave a like, leave a comment. You will help me tremendously. It's been fun here for the NFL. We are actually like getting to crunch time of the season. We are past the halfway point, which is crazy because it just runs so quickly that I'm like, I want to enjoy the season more. But yeah, playoffs, right? Draft. I mean, I love NFL, guys. If you don't know it by now, you should. And thank you very much for watching. See you in the next one. Bye bye.